Hello, my name is Sonia Tuma, and I am the coach at Glendive, Montana for Speech, Drama, and Debate. I am here to help you figure out how to be a judge. I had to make some new videos because a couple rules and a couple of events have changed. This video will be specifically about just generic judging a forensics meet in Montana. After that, I'll do a couple videos on specifically speech, specifically drama. But for right now, let's focus on just in general. So in general, when you show up to the meet, like you can read all the stuff I have on this page right now. I'll move it a little bit in a minute. But when you show up, you should show up a little early. Make sure you have time to get your ballot and comment sheets from the judges table. Make sure you have time to familiarize yourself with the event you're going to be judging. And make sure you have time to find your room. The students will not enter or should not enter unless you are there. And then when you are ready for them to start presenting, then they will go one at a time. They will introduce themselves. They will present their material, and then they will sit back down and sit through the rest of the competitors, unless they are dual entered, and I'll talk about that in a minute. When you are done with your round, you need to get your sheets back to the judging table. The one that looks like it says summation ballot, so it looks like this. It'll say summation ballot. It'll tell you what round you're in, section. It might have your name. You might have to fill it in, and it'll have what event you're judging. And then down lower, it has this grid. You do need to make sure you fill in which code spoke, what their time was, what rank you think they received in that round, and their speaker points. This is important for tiebreakers. So please fill in all those columns before you turn this in. This sheet needs to come back to the judges table as soon as possible. They will each also have comment sheets that explain a little bit about the event, and then they have places at the top to put the speaker code, the time, the judge, the round, and they have a spot for you to say what they do well, what they need improvement on. Please try to put something in both the well and the needs improvement, because it really helps the competitors to know why they placed the way they did and where they can do better. And then there's some things at the bottom to just help give them some feedback. And again, you can circle their speaker points at the bottom. So the comment sheets can take a while. If you're not done before you need to judge your next round, you can take them with you and fill them in more in depth later. But the ballot needs to come back. This needs to come back to the judges table as soon as you can so that we can tab and we can get all the results put together. If you're doing debate, your ballots will look a little different because you'll have one sheet of paper. It'll be both of the competitors or both the teams. In this case, it's a team event. If it's individuals like Lincoln Douglas, it'll look just slightly different. But you need to put the speaker codes in for who's speaking, affirmative speaker code, negative speaker code, how many points you think they earned, speaker points. This little rubric tells you how much they can get. And then who won, which code won, just to specify that for sure. And if they were the lower points, lower speaker points, but they still won in your mind, you need to mark that that was a low point win. Same thing here. This would be the team debates. You put which speaker names they were. They will give them to you when they introduce themselves. You'll say which side they're on in public forum. In policy, it'll just be listed as pro or con. And then you have to mark who won, which code won, just to make sure that's clear. And if they were the low point win again, there's a spot for initialing. With debate ballots, then they have a spot for whoever's on this side of your ballot and whoever's on this side of your ballot. And then you can put reasons for why you decided. So with debate, if we can just get who won, the specific code of who won, and if it was a low point win, why, and the speaker codes or speaker points. If we can get that from you as soon as possible, it helps us figure out the next round. And then you can take your time on filling out the rest of the comments if you want. As you're in the round, you can also put, or you might also be given a sheet that looks something like this. So that's a table to help you decide rankings. As each speaker goes, you get to decide who's the best in the round and then fill it in after that. So as an example, I put a round one, section one, what that might look like when the students come into your room. If it has a star next to it, that means that student is dual entered. They are in two events. So they will present for you, and then they will have to leave the room to go to another event. Or they might be going to the other event first and then come back to your room and present. In either case, like if they're late getting to your room, just move past them until they show up. You don't need to wait for them. They will show up when they can. Sometimes there's a delay in the other room. But let's say 16AH comes in, they present their material, and you're just amazed. They are so good. So you put, and they're going to be first anyway the first round. They leave to do their dual entry. 19WL comes in, they do their speech, and they're not quite as good. So you might rank them second out of the two. Then 8CC comes in, and well, they were better than 19WL, but they weren't as good as 16AH. So in the third round, you would put your top person 16AH, then you would put 8CC because you think they're second, and then 19WL because at that moment you think they're third. And if you continue that as you go, it can really help at the end, that you're only inserting one speaker at a time. So you're really just deciding which two they'll be between, instead of having to rank everybody at the end. You do what works for you, but this is a tool that I find very helpful. All right, I'll go back to that. All the things you should know. Like I said, show up early, find where you need to be, familiarize yourself with the events, get those ballots back to the judging table, make your comments as you have time. Try to put something on there so kids know what to work with. It's hard when a kid gets a comment sheet that just says, "Good job, you're in 8th place." So try to give them something to work with if you can, in a kind way. Don't ask your competitors where they're from. We try to keep that a secret to eliminate bias. And if anybody is on a phone in the room, except using it as a timer, that's a complete, like, absolutely not restricted. Even audience members, they can't take photos, they can't record. Phones need to be put away in the competition rooms. That's to eliminate copying and some other problems that we can have with confidentiality. Make sure you mark everything. And there is some stuff about the student introductions. They only need to ask you if you're ready, give you their code, and show you their timer. They don't need to say anything else. If they don't follow up with something else, it's not rude. If they do add more, it's not more polite. We're trying to make it less time between speakers so that the round goes faster. Okay, and then I have a little bit that's hard to see, so I'll scoot that up a little bit. If you need to pause and read anything, go for it. I hope that you enjoy your experience as a judge, and you can always reach out with questions. And we look forward to seeing you, and I hope that you enjoy what you see at the meet. Thanks.